little bit of news before the 11 o'clock?
Absolutely, we can do a little bit of news. Speaking of Kevin Smith, he says that Clerks 3 is back on with Jeff Anderson returning. I believe Jeff Anderson played Dante. One of the... let me make sure that is correct. The original leads of the film. Yeah, with Brian O'Halloran. Oh, yeah, he's...
O'Halloran?
O'Halloran. Yes,
yeah.
They're both returning.
Okay.
So thanks to the good folks. I got to see Randall, and I spent Saturday signing stuff and catching up. I'm paraphrasing, but it looks like they signed on. So Clerks 3 is going to be in the works as another movie from Kevin Smith.
Okay. First, like Jeff Anderson and Brian O'Halloran wouldn't sign on for Clerks 3. What are they doing?
Right?
Do you know what I mean? Like they're not like super. Yeah, but I'm congratulations.
Nice. Thank you so much. And with
Method
Kevin,
of the Madness?
Madness and the Method.
Madness and the Method.
You know, I think that this is, for any Kevin Smith fan, this is super exciting. Because if you're... Oh, what's going on?
I just read the article. I figured out why.
Why what?
Kevin Smith had a falling out with Anderson. He had a big falling out that he talked about, and apparently they made up, and that's why Clerks 3 can happen now.
That's
good stuff.
That's breaking news on this article that has been out for a few hours.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
to why.
that's what it is.
Did you like Clerks 2?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I'm a massive Kevin Smith fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that, first of all, I've gotten to work with him before at Screen Junkies, and he is a doll.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm a friend of Jay's, so I love Jay. And I think that they're both just like badass. But growing up, those were the people to watch. I wanted to be a filmmaker, and they were doing it, you know, like maxing out their credit cards doing it, and taking out loans and reading books and filming and figuring out how the F to film and having nobody backing them. And when I say them, mostly Kevin, but obviously with Jay's help.
Sure.
I just think that he's so innovative. And, you know, Picasso had this quote about, if you take away my paint, then I'll use chalk. And if you take away my chalk, I'll use watercolors. And if you take away my watercolors, I'll use my finger because I'm an artist. So whatever I have, I'm just going to fucking use.
Totally.
And I feel like that's Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to make movies. Get out of my way.
Yeah.
So I love Dogma's my favorite.
Is Dogma your favorite?
Yeah, I love Dogma.
Man, I do love Dogma too.
But
I love Dogma.
I love Mallrats. I love
Chasing Amy is my favorite.
Chasing Amy is great.
Yeah.
I have so much respect that I think that I am almost partially blind when I watch his movies because I just look at them. I've never watched something of his and seen flaws. I just think this guy's doing the damn thing. So
do you remember the first person to like introduce you to Clerks? Because Clerks was obviously like an indie hit, obviously. So you needed somebody to find it. So there's this dude on my bus, and I think it was like 8th grade, 7th grade.
Love the dude on your bus.
His name's Dan Cramer. He's a legend. He like one of the coolest dudes I went to high school with. Love the guy. He was I think he took me to my first Fish concert. We went to like our first Fish concert together. We lived close by, neighbors, whatever, rode the same bus. He was like, you have to see this movie, Clerks. It's insane. It's the funniest stuff ever. And you couldn't get Clerks at Blockbuster. Clerks was not at Blockbuster. So you had to go to like this place. I think it was called not Broadway Video. That's David
SNL.
Letterman's company.
No.
Or Lauren Michaels' company. Yeah. I think it was called like Super Video or something. It was down near the Taco Bell.
Why wasn't it at Blockbuster? Interesting.
Because it was...
Too indie.
Too indie.
What year are you talking?
So when did it come out? 94?
When did it come out?
I don't know.
Cody, can you bring up when Clerks came out? I feel like it was either 91, 92.
I
feel like it was 94.
I didn't watch any of his movies until they had been out for years.
94.
94 is Clerks. Okay.
They'd been out for years by the time that I watched. Well, yeah,
because you're way younger than we are.
Yeah.
But so, like, getting introduced to Clerks was the first thing. Like, when I moved to New York, you know, I remember booking things off Backstage that were in New Jersey, and a couple of people were like, I'm trying to be the next Kevin Smith. Everybody that lived in New Jersey was trying to be the next Kevin Smith. What I thought was, the ultimate homage to somebody. It'd be like if somebody said, I'm from Pittsburgh, I want to be the next Josh McCouga. That would be the coolest thing that anybody could ever say to me.
Ed Burns, Kevin Smith. I remember those were the filmmakers who I was like, I'm watching these.
Yeah, because when Clerks did come out and it traveled to high school? Yeah, I was in high school and we were talking about film. I wanted to do film, all these things. Like, these guys just made something. Yeah. And we heard all of it because it was the same year as Pulp Fiction. It was the same year as like the big movies like Forrest Gump. Everybody's looking at this movie going, this guy did it. And I went, so was my one of my friends went. We went to one of the smaller theaters to see it, and I was blown away. Yeah. I loved it.
Do you think that like Clerks 2, because it was so far, like, you know, I always have trouble with the long distance sequels, and I'm not gonna have trouble with Bad Boys 3, but like some of the long
time period.
comedy sequels
Yeah.
always have a little bit of trouble as far as delivering. Zoolander 2 was a disaster.
Right.
Dumb and Dumber,
Dumb and Dumber
2
2
wasn't the best. I mean, I was going to like it no matter what because Dumb and Dumber is my favorite comedy.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Anchorman had its moments.
Anchorman
the
has
sequel.
moments.
Yeah, but
the battle scene at the end of Anchorman 2 is absolutely hysterical.
Yeah.
Well, comedy's changing so rapidly, and it's hard to keep in the same tone as your original movie, but keep up with comedy at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
think that that's really challenging when you have the same characters from a decade prior. 2 decades, whatever amount of time we're talking between comedies that you're mentioning. And you've got to keep true to these characters, but like they can't be dropping like racial slurs or homophobic, whatever it is anymore, because that's no longer acceptable and it's not funny. Then we have to be smarter with our comedy, right? We have to be more elevated with it. And
a
so I
certain
think
extent.
it takes more effort.
Like, here's the thing is there's a lot of very offensive jokes in everything that you watch, right? And you have to have a thick skin. Like, Clerks has some offensive stuff. Like, I'm guarantee you that the SJWs out there will be like, oh, they were slut-shaming her for sucking 33 dicks, right? Because that's the line in the movie.
Yeah.
How many in a row? Right, that's the line. And Jay and Silent Bob's, like, whole MFMF thing is, I mean, listen, I still think Clerks is absolutely hysterical.
Me
I think
too.
a lot of their stuff is very, very, very funny. But a lot of people, I'm sure, get turned off by Kevin Smith movies because they get offended so easily. In this like super offended culture we live in now, I'm sure Kevin Smith has a lot of trouble. I'm sure he doesn't have trouble getting movies made per se, but I'm sure he has a lot of trouble trying to be like, do I offend this person? Because it has to get in everybody's head. If you're making movies, it has to get in everybody's
I
head.
think, also, he has a daughter.
Yeah.
And she's in a lot of his films now, or when he's directing TV, she's in a lot of those episodes. So you got to think about it completely differently now. What does this mean? What messages am I putting into the world?
Totally.
But I just think that he has adapted with the times so well, and I think he's a genius. I really do.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's. I don't want to say genius because genius is like you use that word kind of. That's like for people like the people that win
Einstein.
Nobel prizes. Yeah, like Einstein.
I
that
use it
kind
pretty
of stuff.
sparingly too. Yeah.
Okay, but
genius in
what
this
Kevin
medium.
What Kevin Smith has been
Yeah.
able to do as far as stay relevant for so long,
So long.
when a lot of people that would be in his shoes wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how old Kevin Smith is, but he's just fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Smith is a cool effing dude.
He is.
And anytime he made a movie, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Like you knew that friend that you had in high school that was just a cool dude, or it was a cool girl, and you're like, I want to be friends with that person, and they stayed cool. I don't care. Like if I go to my 20-year high school reunion, that person is still cool to me.
I agree. And that's why I'm excited to see his next several projects. I mean, like, even if he does ever have flops or whatever it is, I have so much respect for what he's done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love him.
So check out that comic book shopping, Clerks 3. I will go see it. I will definitely go see Clerks 3. I enjoyed Clerks 2. I mean,
Well,
Mallrats is my favorite.
Jay and Silent Bob is what, like
The reboot?
yeah,
The next
soon,
movie?
right?
It's like
Soon.
I think it's in like two weeks, no joke. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's that soon.
What is...
The release date for Jay and Bob?
Yeah, October 15th. You're right.
October 15th. Yeah.
Holy cow.
I can't wait for
Oh,
this.
me too.
This is going to be great.
I'm working on trying to
mean-
get to that premiere. I want to
Yeah.
go so bad.
Name more iconic duos in movie comedies than Jay and Silent Bob.
I know.
Jay and Silent
Right?
Bob is up there.
Yeah, and like I feel so effing lucky to even know them. Like,
Right.
they're such good
It's
fucking
cool.
dudes. It's really
It's
cool. They're
And,
really cool
and you know
guys.
the cool thing about people like that is they always bring up people with them. Do you know what I mean? It's
Hardcore.
the Adam Sandler
Sandler.
thing. It's
Oh,
the Adam
yeah.
Sandler thing.
Yeah.
You can say what you want about Adam Sandler movies. I still effing love him. And
I love the way that he works.
Me too.
I think that if you can help out your friends and they're great people and very talented, then fucking do
Then
that.
do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
Adam Sandler's another one. Like, I would die to work with him. He
Totally.
is just I love Adam Sandler.
He's the best.
I love him.
I know.